Everyone thinks Bitcoin cannot be hacked, and that is safe from hackers. But here's something crazy to think about. Bitcoin has been hacked multiple times, and hackers have stolen billions of dollars.
Fourth biggest crypto hack of all time.
Hackers have stolen almost £1.2 billion worth of cryptocurrency.
The thing is, these hackers are not breaking into Bitcoin itself. They're finding clever ways around it. It is like trying to break into a bank safe. You cannot break through the walls, therefore you look for other ways in. Maybe through people who have the keys or through the security system itself. Back in 2014, something insane happened that changed everything we thought we knew about Bitcoin security. Mt. Gox, the biggest Bitcoin exchange in the world at the time, lost 850,000 Bitcoins. That is worth over $40 billion today. But here's something crazy. No one actually hacked Bitcoin blockchain. First, we need to understand what makes Bitcoin supposedly unhackable. It is not just one thing protecting it. It is like having multiple layers of security. The first layer is mathematics. Bitcoin uses something called cryptography that is so complex it would take all the computers on Earth thousands of years to crack one single transaction. But that is not even the most impressive part. The second layer is what we call decentralization. Imagine trying to hack thousands of computers all at the same time, with each one checking the other's work. That is what you would need to do to hack Bitcoin itself. It is practically impossible. Therefore, hackers do not even try to attack these parts. Instead, they look for what we call attack vectors, the weak points in the system. And this is where it really gets interesting. Let's see the most insane crypto hacks that changed everything. The Mt. Gox incident was not just one-time thing. It was a series of hacks that happened over years. Here's something most people do not know. The first Mt. Gox hack happened back in 2011. A hacker managed to artificially drop the price of Bitcoin and then bought 2,000 Bitcoins for just $20. That was just the beginning. In 2014, something even crazier happened. Hackers had been using a bug called transaction malleability to drain the exchange slowly. Every time someone withdrew Bitcoin, the hackers tricked the system into thinking the withdrawal failed. Therefore, the system would automatically try again, sending the same amount twice. But here's something even crazier. In 2016, Bitfinex lost 120,000 Bitcoin in what might have been the most sophisticated hack ever. The hackers found a flaw in their multi-signature system. These wallets were supposed to need multiple people to approve any withdrawal, but the hackers figured out how to bypass this completely. The Bitfinex hackers were so patient, they waited years before moving the stolen funds. Therefore, in 2022, when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, they started moving small amounts. People actually tracked these movements live on the blockchain. Then, in 2019, we saw something completely new. Binance got hit with what we call a hot wallet hack. The hackers spent months gathering API keys, virus infecting user devices, and collecting two-factor authentication codes. They waited until they had access to multiple accounts. Therefore, when they finally struck, they could withdraw 7,000 Bitcoin in a single transaction. Now, let's talk about how hackers are targeting Bitcoin today. In 2022, hackers stole over $3.8 billion in crypto. But here's what makes it really interesting. They're not even trying to hack the blockchain anymore. Instead, they're going after what we call the human layer. Social engineering has become the #1 way to steal crypto. These hackers are not breaking code, they're breaking trust. For example, in January 2022, Crypto.com got hit with a $30 million hack, but the hackers did not break any encryption. They figured out how to bypass second-factor authentication system completely. Therefore, they could get into people's accounts even with all the security measures in place. But that was just the beginning of 2022. In April, something even crazier happened. Hackers found a way to break into the Ronin network and stole over $600 million in crypto. They actually managed to get control of something called validator nodes. Therefore, they could approve their own transactions without anyone noticing for almost a week. Then, in October 2022, hackers pulled off something that everyone thought was impossible. They attacked the BSC token hub, Binance Smart Chains across chain bridge. They discovered a weakness in how the bridge verified proofs. The result, $566 million gone in minutes. This hack wasn't so sophisticated that it forced Binance to completely shut down their entire blockchain network. But here is where modern attacks get really interesting. In February of 2023, Platypus Finance lost $9 million because of something called a flash loan attack. The hackers found a way to trick the smart contract into thinking they had more collateral than they actually did. Therefore, they could borrow massive amounts of crypto and drain the system before anyone realized it was happening. The scariest part, these attacks are getting more complex every time. In March of 2023, hackers started using something called replay attacks. They found a way to make the same transaction happen multiple times on different blockchains. One hacker actually managed to steal the same NFT 3 times using this method. New attacks methods are being discovered all the time. Just a few months ago, hackers started using something called MEF bot manipulation. They found a way to run other people's transactions and steal millions in just a few seconds. Even the tools that are supposed to help traders are becoming weapons for hackers. Now, let's talk about what keeps crypto security experts up at night: quantum computers. This is not just some future threat, it is something that is really already being built. Here's how quantum computers could break Bitcoin. They use something called Shor's algorithms. Traditional computers would take billions of years to crack coin cryptography, but a powerful enough quantum computer could do it in hours. Google has already built a quantum computer that could do calculations in 200 seconds that would take normal computers 10,000 years. But here is what makes this really fascinating. They're not just getting faster, they're getting better exponentially. The current encryption Bitcoin uses is called the SHA-256 and the ECDSA. These were chosen because they're quantum resistant to a point. But scientists have calculated exactly how powerful quantum computer would need to be to break them. This magic number is about 4,000 qubits working together with a low error rate. Right now, the most powerful quantum computers have around 100 qubits, but according to IBM, we will hit 4,000 qubits by 2025. Therefore, we're in a race against time. Bitcoin needs to upgrade its encryption before quantum computers become more powerful enough to break it. But there is something even more interesting about this threat. Some cryptographers think quantum computers might never be stable enough to break Bitcoin. The problem is something called quantum incoherence. The more qubits you add, the harder it becomes to keep them stable. This has created a fascinating debate in the crypto world. Some people think we need to change Bitcoin coin right now to make it quantum proof. Others think we should wait and see if quantum computers ever become powerful enough to be the real threat. What makes this even more complex is that changing coin code to make it quantum resistant will require something called a hard fork. This means everyone running Bitcoin software would need to upgrade at the same time. Therefore, the entire community would need to agree on the changes. Let's talk about where most people actually lose their Bitcoin cryptocurrency exchanges. These are like the banks of the crypto world, but they have serious problems. They keep getting hacked. In 2019, Binance, the biggest crypto exchange in the world, lost $40 million in a single hack. The hackers were patient. They spent months gathering user information and access codes. Therefore, when they finally attacked, they knew exactly what they were doing. The interesting thing is that these hacks keep happening because exchanges have to balance security with usability. Make things too secure and people cannot access their money easily. Make things too easy and hackers find a way in. So how do you actually keep Bitcoin safe? It is not as complicated as you might think. But you have to understand one key thing. Security is not about having one super strong defense. It is about having multiple layers of protection. Here are the most important things you need to know. First, never keep large amount of crypto on exchanges. The moment you do not control your private keys, you do not control your Bitcoin. Therefore, you should use what we call cold storage hardware wallets that stay offline. Second, understand that the biggest threat to Bitcoin is not some super hacker, it is you.
Billion times easier to just hack the bank or hack the communication network and make money than it is to hack Bitcoin.
People lose more Bitcoin through lost passwords and backup phrases than through actual hacks. This is why you need a solid system for storing your security information. So, is Bitcoin truly unhackable? The answer is both yes and no. The core blockchain technology has never been hacked, and it would take an impossible amount of computing power to break it directly. But the system and people around Bitcoin are definitely hackable. The future of crypto security is going to be fascinating to watch. As quantum computers get more powerful, therefore new security measures will need to be developed. But for now, the biggest threat to your Bitcoin is not the technology, it is the human element. So what do you think? Is quantum computing going to end Bitcoin, or will we figure out a new security measures in this time? Let us know what you think in the comments. We got some incredible stories coming up that will completely change how you think about cryptocurrency security. Thanks for watching.